What is going on, guys? So I have made a few videos like this before, but I feel like I didn't really explain things well or how I would structure the actual full body day, which is not optimal. So we're gonna deep dive straight into this. You're obviously going to want to hit every muscle, but you're also going to want to see what you can recover from and what is efficient. Obviously, it's not going to be efficient doing an isolation to actually individualize it every muscle group. You're going to be in the gym for a very, very long time, even when you're only doing one set per exercise. Now, I am going to run you through how I personally structure it, and you can use this as a kind of a benchmark or just kind of a template to structure your own if you are struggling where to go. I'm talking like I have autism. So, I usually start off with a chest exercise, probably a press. I don't really do flies. Flies are going to be better for developing your chest, but a press is going to stimulate some front delt. It's going to stimulate the medial and lateral height of the triceps, while also stimulating the chest quite well. Obviously, the chest is not going to be able to get the most stimulus as it would in a fly, but the fly is also going to most likely cause more muscle damage to the chest, which could impair your ability to recover. However, a press, like a compounding press, is going to cause overall more fatigue to multiple muscle groups as well. So there is that to look at. But I start with a chest press just because I want to get stronger at pressing, so if I do eventually touch the bench press, I am strong at it. But the main important thing about order of your exercises is what you need to prioritize. And I see comments like this all the time of people going, "Oh, you hit biceps before back, bro? Isn't that just going to limit your back gains?" Putting anything before back is going to limit your back gains. Obviously, it's not really going to matter that much. But if my biceps are lacking and my back is a stronger point, why on earth would I be hitting back first and then I'm going to pre-fatigue my biceps? Obviously, your biceps should not be getting fatigued too heavily on your back movements. If it is, that's honestly more of a problem on you. But we're going to Okay. Oh, I got problems, man. I got problems. But fatigue ain't one of them. Okay, so the next thing. I secondly do a bicep exercise because biceps are something I'm trying to bring up. I'm just trying to bring up my arms in general because I think having overdeveloped arms is sick. So yes, whatever muscle groups are lacking, you want to go in that order, or just muscle groups you care about. So if you care about bringing up your bench, start with the bench press. Even if your chest and your triceps are not a lacking point in your physique, but you want to bring up your bench, why would you not put it first? If that's something that's really important to bring up for you, or just anything, squats, whatever. And not everything needs to be optimal. No. Like, if someone wants to do barbell squats, they can do barbell squats. Just because it may be better for their overall gains to do maybe a hack squat or leg press.
You can do leg presses, but why?
The barbell squat is going to grow their legs very significantly, and it is still a good exercise. I personally hate it, but if you like it, why not do it? You're pretty much, there's like the picture where it's like, it's like those kids on Instagram who are like, "Oh, you're waking up the same job to work the 9 to 5. That's what you're doing. You're literally just doing what people want you to do. They want you to leg press, but you want to actually squat. Why would you not squat?
Nothing's like squat.
So I do biceps. Now, you are going to want to structure for your max tolerable volume, which means the volume you can recover from. So if you see you're consistently progressively overloading, often with progressively overloading without tanking your form, then you're doing, say, 1 set per that muscle group or that exercise, maybe try bumping it up to 2. See how that goes for a few weeks or months. And if you're doing well at 2, maybe try 3. And then you have to think, okay, a muscle group may be going up from adding more sets to it. However, it could be tanking a different muscle group or something else because you're adding that many more sets before you're doing that exercise. So that is another thing to take into consideration that they don't talk about on TV because the government is fucking lying to you. And I know you guys are over there and I'm looking over here. I don't really give a frick. Hello? Fatigue LLC? How's it going? Yep. See ya. It's a calculator. Gotcha. Now that we know a few things where we want to structure, so you have to take into consideration your physique, and if you don't really know where your physique is standing, maybe get some help from an outside perspective, maybe multiple, and they say, oh, your side delts are lacking, and you hear that from multiple people, or something's lacking, and you hear these parts are lacking from multiple people, even if you didn't think that, maybe you should be putting those muscles first. And honestly, if you don't really know what is lacking, maybe just put the aesthetic muscles first. Shoulders, back, chest, arms. Pretty much just the upper body parts, because legs are fucking useless. Now, you guys know what the aesthetic, like the handsome frame maxed man has the big shoulders and the wide back, muscles like that. Now, after months and months of testing out volumes, you should be able to find a perfect volume for you. And yes. Now, the rep range. A lot of people ask about the rep range. Bro, how many reps should I be doing? And honestly, I don't care, nor does it really matter. If you like doing sets of around 15 reps, as long as you're going to failure or very close to failure, 1 or 2 reps from failure, I would say it's completely fine. However, I will leave you with this. Higher reps are going to be harder to gauge failure just due to external factors. Cardiovascular, I know you're going to say, oh, bro, you got to be really out of shape. But, dude, I mean, yeah. Like, your muscles burning, dude, you could be thinking, oh, I can't do this anymore. But really, you haven't even climbed up to those highest motor unit thresholds yet. But you're still, the burn hurts so much that you want to stop. Another thing, which is why lower reps are better, is because they're literally changing your perception of effort. Obviously, you need to have a high perception of effort, but it's changing the perception of effort. Like, when I say perception of effort, I mean, like, when you're on a dumbbell press, there's a greater perception of effort because you have all these external factors, stability and all the everything else. You have all the stability that you have to focus on, which is going to change the perception of effort, which is why people say machines are more optimal or better, obviously. Now, another thing people ask about is full body 3 or 4 times a week. Now, that is totally up to you. I know a lot of people have schedule confinements, and some can't even recover from every other day, and they need a 2-day rest period at some point in the week just because they really need to just reset, just cool everything down. Now, that's totally fine, but you are going to be missing out on a whole extra frequency. And that could be a problem, my friend. It really doesn't matter. It could matter, definitely, long term, but if you can only do 3, like people are asked 3 or 4, it's really up to you. Exercise selection. Now, I obviously try to opt for the better variations of exercises rather than a dumbbell incline. I'd rather prefer like a machine incline or a Smith machine or something. But that is not what I'm talking about. I am talking more so in the realm of changing up the exercise variation. So say you did a Nautilus flat press for a session, and then the next session you did a hammer strength flat press, and then you did a Magnum flat press, and you're switching the flat press every session. Some may see this as a problem. I personally do not, because you're still stimulated. Like, I switch up my exercise variation as well because I'm understanding what my goal is. So I might do an incline press for 3 sessions, and then I'll do a flat press for 1, and then incline again. Or I might just run flat for 10 sessions, or I might just run incline for 10 sessions. Or I might just switch every other session. Like, I really don't care because I'm still doing horizontal abduction in an incline press. And obviously the degree of shoulder flexion in my flat press variations aren't very high, but the upper chest is still being worked, and those fibers aren't going to atrophy. So they are still going to be receiving stimulus, but you just have to take a look at where your chest stands and if the upper chest needs more work or whatever the case may be. Or if you're switching out your bicep exercise often. Like, it's not the biggest deal in the world. As long as you're stimulating those muscles and you're keeping the order that you hit muscles in relatively the same session to session, unless you want to have a switch up of prioritization, but don't be shocked when, say, you did biceps first one session and the next session you're not prioritizing that session, you throw it at the end. Don't be shocked if the weight goes down or you lose a bunch of reps, because fatigue is going to... Fatigue, yeah. I don't know why I did the air parentheses, just the word fatigue. It will catch up to you at the end of a session, and you're just going to have to deal with that. And if you're matching the reps, you might have to rethink the form. It might not be the same as the prior session. Sorry to tell you. Another thing, if your workouts are very long and vigorous, like, and you're there for many hours. Me personally, I'm only doing like an average of 15 sets per full body session. And your full body sessions, I would say no more than like 25, 30 sets. That's like at the most, and most people aren't going to be doing that. But I would say if you're doing less than 10 sets, you might be doing too little. But if you're having fun, you're making progress, that is what's going to matter the most. But if you're at the gym for very long amounts of time, you may want to consider an intra-workout carb. Now, this could be really whatever you want. If you want, like, juice and with an electrolyte in there, I would definitely recommend an electrolyte, Santa Cruz or EcoVision, and you get the EcoVision ones with code FriendBaby. Holy plug, bro just plugged himself. And if you're getting really strong at the machines, you can get a gym pin with code FriendBaby. Bro double plugged, oh my gosh. But, seriously, yeah. So you could... So an electrolyte, or you could just make your own electrolytes with potassium, magnesium, and sodium. And then just a carb source. I would recommend maybe like 20 to 30 grams with this intra. All right, guys, now I'm going to be warm-up sets. How do I structure my warm-up sets? Well, this is going to depend on what exercise it is and how far into the session it is and what have I done prior. So if I'm hitting upper back and it's my like 10th exercise and it's a row and I've already done pull downs or something, I'll probably just do one warm-up set with a decently heavy load for about 3 to 5 reps. Obviously not close to failure, but 3 to 5 reps with a moderately heavy load. However, if it's my first exercise, like a chest exercise, I'll probably do 2 to 3 sets. I usually do a set with a lighter load for about 8 reps, and then I do a second set with a heavier load for about 5, and if I'm feeling feisty, I'll do an even heavier load for about 1 to 3. That's how I usually do leg press, is I'll start with a decently heavy load. I'll do 5, I do 3, and then I do 1, and then I am ready for my leg pressing. But I guess it really depends on the movement, and whatever method you guys have for warming up that is efficient and does not fatigue you very much, that is going to be the method that is going to be best. But going in no warm-up, you're a
fucking idiot.
Alright, well, let me know if I covered anything, guys, and thank you for watching. This is Full Body for Dummies, and I might make a version for push-pull legs, and maybe a version for upper-lower, and maybe a version for Arnold split, and maybe a version for bro split, and maybe a version for... Shut your...